Hello, socialites. Welcome back to Survivor Social, the Survivor podcast where we discuss Survivor with a focus on the social elements of the game. As always, my name is Tegwith, and my co-host Kara is here. Kara, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. I'm so excited to talk about episode several. So it's gonna be a good one.
I know, I'm so excited. And we have such a fun guest today. She is a New York Times bestselling author, YouTuber, book talk content creator, you name it, she does it. But she's also a self-proclaimed Survivor superfan. Christine Riccio. Christine, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Oh my gosh, thank you for having my book.
If you don't know, and if you're listening to us and not watching, Christine wrote a Survivor inspired kind of Survivor Bachelor twist kind of book attached at the hip. It's so good. So she did not have us do this, but it's a very good book. You should go read it.
Thank you.
My Survivor fan when I saw this, because I just came across this naturally on my TikTok, and the Survivor, like my heart just like burst. I was so excited, and I ordered it immediately. Because I pre-ordered it. And it was so good. And that's our podcast for today. No, I'm just kidding. I just came on here to praise the book and we're done.
That's really nice. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm obsessed with Survivor as well. So it was so fun to write that book.
I love that. Because it's, you have a lot of really great Survivor content also in the book, which clearly like it shows that you are a huge Survivor fan. Why don't you tell us like where the love of Survivor comes from? How long have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been watching since the season finale of season 1. My mom had it on and I was like instantly entranced. She was like, they had to walk on hot coals. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like 9.5 or something. And I must watch this. And then in 5th grade, like season 2, everyone was watching. And I just remember coming into school every, like, was it on Thursday at that time? So like every Friday and being like, oh my God, did you guys watch Survivor? Talking about like eating cow brains and Kimmy. I was obsessed with Kimmy.
Who wasn't?
Been obsessed ever since. I mean, Rob and Amber rocked my world. I was like, this is the best season of Survivor ever in the history of ever. I was obsessed with Rupert, like all throughout my, really intense middle school years and on.
I love that. I love that so much. And I just like, it's just so fun because I actually only started watching in 2018.
Oh, snap.
A new convert. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ryan, my boyfriend of like 9 million years, he also, his first episode he ever watched was the finale of season 1.
Nice.
So his parents had watched the whole season and they were just like, come in and watch. And that was his first episode too. And that was it for him as well.
Yeah. That Stu monologue, man, got all of us.
I mean, it's the best. Carol, how long have you been watching? You're recent too, right?
Yeah, probably around the same time you started. My brother like started watching it like I guess probably like a few years before, like 2015 or something, I don't know. Like not too long ago. And he was like, Harry, you have to watch this. Like it's so good. Because we were big Brother fans, and then he started dabbling in Survivor, and then here I am.
Classic. Nice. That's so good. Oh, I love this. Survivor bringing everyone together. It's the best.
Yes.
Before we dig into the episode, just a quick reminder, make sure to like and subscribe on Survivor Now on YouTube and Spotify. We're also live on a couple of different platforms right now. So please say hello in the comments. We also do a questions bit at the end. So if you have any questions that doesn't even pertain to what we're talking about, put it in the comments. We'll get to it later on. We love, hearing what your thoughts. But that being said, let's get into the episode. So actually, before we get into the episode, I would love to hear, Christine, how you're feeling about the season as a whole. Like, because it's a different New Era season than what we've seen, really.
Yeah. No, I like the changes that they're making. I'm really glad Jeff didn't make half of the not merged tribe all immune from the vote. I think that made it so much more fun to watch because I feel like you're instantly in a panic when it's all half of them are immune. And it was nice to have that after the fake merge episode. I don't know what to call it. Like this week, I felt like it worked better. And then adding that advantage where the safety without power really made it fun and interesting. And just like I was on the edge of my seat. So I think this season I'm enjoying a lot. I really liked having Rome because he was an unintentional villain. That made things really interesting. And I'm enjoying the edit this season. So we'll see. I feel like you don't know till like the end how it like stacks in your brain depending on how it falls in the final 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's so real. Yeah, that's so real. I will say, and Kara, I don't know if you agree, I feel like this pre-merge and like I guess pre-jury, because we're still not in the jury portion, has been, which is crazy, has been probably one of the best in the new era. Probably the best the new era. Kara, do you agree?
I agree. And I like how much like emotion people have when they're getting voted out. I feel like we haven't seen that as much. And it's like it shows that everyone there cares. Like they want to be there and like it hurts to, be voted out.
Yeah, it was so fun to see that.
Oh my gosh. It was like I had this episode, I literally had goosebumps watching her realize that it was her. And Connor like realized it was her and her face. She was just like so
when she started crying, I started crying.
Oh my gosh.
Like everything she was saying leading up to it, like how she wants like, being on the jury and like just like everything. And then for that to be the outcome.
The All Women's Alliance just constantly falling apart before it starts makes me so sad.
I honestly, so here's the thing, Christine, I have because I was thinking that too, because I love an all women's alliance. Like I was in an org where I tried to get an all women's alliance happening and it didn't work. Like it never works, right? But I'm almost like, I was very sad it didn't happen, but I almost then turned into being mad at the editors for teasing us
there.
Again. They do it every single time.
Do you think it could still happen though?
It could. There's still
I feel like maybe it's foreshadowing.
But they have foreshadowed a couple seasons before and it never happened. It was sad. But like they always choose bros before hoes and it's so sad.
It's so sad. They really do. And I just
ovaries before broveries.
Ovaries. That's the name of this episode. Ovaries before broveries. I do have a question though. If this was like a schoolyard pick, and not like a random rock draw, obviously we have no idea what would have happened because that's such a big like unknown. But part of me is wondering like if it hadn't been all of Tuku and one other person in a 6, I feel like we would have seen obviously a completely different outcome. But like it would not, because it really did go back to the pre-merge. It was the 5 of them. What were they going to do? I mean, who said it? It was Gabe who even said that. What were they going to do 4 days ago, 5 days ago?
Yeah.
And I feel like we really just did. Yeah, exactly. I think they really were like, we were going to vote out Tiana. Let's just do what we were going to do anyway. Yeah. And we didn't really see that like all of this strategy from the merge come into play. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I'm kind of like surprised that like going into it, it wasn't more like set on Tiana, especially after the whole social hour where she was throwing Gabe's name out, where he was like obviously mad. So I was even surprised that he was even entertaining even a little bit of the fact of them staying strong as a tribe.
Yeah.
The whole situation was giving me like, not to go back to the All-Star season, but it was giving like Shapiro when like Amber was the only one from their tribe that was left over there. And then when Sam was like, my girl, Rachel's over there. And I was like, it's giving Rob.
That's so real. That's so funny. I saw a tweet where somebody was like, Amber walked so Rachel could run. And I was like, that's so real. That's so real. I'm very happy Rachel is still in the game, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this advantage. Christine, I'll start with you. Are you pro? Because like the internet is very divided. Some people love this advantage and some people are like, I hate this. I love because it like saved Rachel and it was very interesting to like TV, but then some people are like, I hate this because it's like production interference. Where do you land on this pro versus con?
I love this. I feel like it was an unfair rock draw. And sometimes when people go home like that, it's very upsetting because they have no say in it. It's really hard to turn the tide when it's 5 versus 1. And I feel like having this advantage evened out the playing field in such a fun way. I like that it was like not too complicated of an advantage. Like it wasn't like I don't know, flip a coin. I like that we were guaranteed Rachel's safe. Bye-bye. To each other.
Yeah, it was really truly crazy because she got up and left. Kara, how did you feel about the advantage? Do you agree?
I liked it. I think I just wish that she didn't have an option of like block a vote or states with that power. Like, I feel like they should have just given her one, like, no option. You know what I mean?
I have a question. Was that because when I watched it, I got the impression that Saul chose one. And then she only had that one. I could be wrong.
I got too.
I could be wrong.
Oh, wait. I like that, actually. I didn't realize that.
But then it's not her choosing. So my thing in the moment, I loved the advantage. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. It's really giving us something like new. It's not a straightforward vote. And I really do love when it's not the straightforward votes, you know. But my only thing is it gives Saul so much power when he's not in the, like, he's not at tribal council. I mean, he's at tribal council, but he's not involved. And then it also in turn then gives Rachel so much power, which I don't hate, but I kind of wish it would have not wish, but I think it would have been interesting for it to be a steal a vote or an extra vote or something like this, where if she got at the beginning of the day or like right when they got back, right when he found the advantage, she then can use, because she's pretty good at like getting to talk to people and all this stuff. And I would be very interested to see her kind of wine and dine and see what's going on, and see if maybe Tiana could be like, hey, you know, we've got this. She's got an extra vote. We only need me, Kyle, and Rachel to get Gabe out. Maybe it would have been a different kind of situation. I'm not saying I don't like the advantage. I actually think it's very interesting, and I'm probably leaning on the more pro side. But I think it also would have been interesting to see Rachel be able to like use her skill and ability, her
powers. Yeah. And, like, I wonder if it was too late in the day. Oh, I'm sorry. And he knew that she wouldn't have time.
That's true. That's also true. Because I guess they had the challenge.
Yeah. Why not hide it at their beach though? Like, why did it have to be someone on the other tribe or other tribe to find it, you know?
Like, and they wanted the drama of us not knowing who he gave it to, even though we knew it was going to be Rachel.
Yeah.
They took it out of the edit.
Yeah. And like, I feel like Rachel going in this scenario just would have been, I don't know. I feel like she couldn't go at this point. Like, it was too obvious of a thing to happen that like it had to be one of the two people to go.
Yeah. I think, and I was actually certain the entire week leading up to this that like Rachel was safe. Like it wasn't even a question in my mind that they were going to vote her out, because it just seemed too straightforward. Why would you want to vote out somebody who is just kind of a number for you? Like she's literally a number to get something done when, I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting, but I'm very happy she's safe. Sad Tiana left just because it was just so heartbreaking. But like, I think it was a really good tribal council. Another thing the internet's divided about, though, did you guys care about how long the tribal council was?
No,
it didn't bother me.
No, I was so excited. I was like, when's she gonna pull it out?
Normal, like I liked it.
Yeah. No, apparently, like people on the internet were like mad. They were, in all of my comments, they were like, I was so sick of tribal council. I was so sick of hearing Jeff talk. What? I wish he would have just, And I was like, you and I are different people. You and I are different people.
The more tribal council we could see, the better.
When there's a long tribal council, you know some interesting stuff is going down. I'm like, that gets me excited when I see there's a half an hour chunk there. I'm like, oh, what's waiting for us in there?
It's like when you see there's like a half an hour left, or if you see that there's only like 5 minutes left, and not council left, you're like, what is gonna happen?
You're like, nothing's happening. It's gonna be a straightforward, boring vote.
I know. It's very interesting. But let's go to the beginning of the episode, the Andy montage.
Yes.
Christina, how are you feeling about Andy this season? Do you like Andy this season?
Okay, I'm having so much fun with Andy. After they didn't vote him off, I was sad when John got voted off the first week. But after that, now I'm kind of rooting for him. He's like this silly, smart character. And now that he got that montage, I was like, is Andy making it to the end? Like that was a long, intense montage.
It was
so long. It was so long and intense. And also, it was like so much time devoted to these two people, because it was Andy and Saul talking.
Yes.
And then it went just to
Genevie.
Andy. And then Andy and Genevie. And I'm like, so much time is being devoted to Andy and the people around him. Does that mean that like Andy and Genevie are going to the end?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just felt like something.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for them because he's been so fun to watch. He's one of those characters like in the show that's just growing on you as we get further and further in.
Yeah, I agree. Kara, how did you feel about that whole montage?
Yeah, it was interesting that like he had that whole scene and everything, but I'm excited about it because I feel like it has to be something good.
Yeah. Well, here's a question. This is a huge hypothetical because I don't even have two people that he's sitting next to. But if Andy does make it to the end, he makes it to final three. Do you think that he has an ability to like? Do you think he has an argument to win? Because we've seen people like him though,
Yeah.
like Carolyn,
I was just gonna say
or
Carolyn.
but then they go to the end and they don't get any votes, or they don't get like they get like one or two. Do you think that he would be able to argue his game well enough at the end because of how people are already perceiving him?
Do you want to go or?
No.
I feel like the Carolyn effect is really interesting because up until the end, I think she was articulating to the camera
Mhm,
her game.
mhm.
And then when she got to the end, she couldn't articulate it in that setting because she felt kind of belittled, I think, by everyone else's game. But I think watching that happen and learn, like people learn from that. Like I think Andy will think about that when he's at tribal council because it was so recent that how can you not? Because the edit they gave him is very much like Carolyn. Like when she opened that game and she was talking to the camera, like, what do I do? What do I talk to? I was like, oh, she's either getting out today or she's going to the end. And with Andy, we were seeing a similar arc where like he opened up and we're like, oh my God, a loose cannon. He's got to go. And then now we're like, oh, wait, he's going to have a redemption arc. And I think if we've seen this type of a game enough times, we start to realize like that it does have merit and that maybe like they will give it to him if enough time passes and enough players do it.
Mhm.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. I think he'll have a good like reasoning and like argument to win the game. I really think it's mostly just going to come down to how people feel about him in the end. I feel
On the
like that's
jury.
what's going to make or break him. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he
Well, here's a
successfully
great
takes out Gata, I feel like
true.
that's a good argument.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole lot of game
But they
left to
might be
play.
bitter.
You know what I mean? Exactly. There's just a whole lot of game left to play. And we got this
Yeah.
comment saying, I know you guys are Andy stands. True, we are. But looking for an advantage when people are awake is so sloppy.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong. You are
That's
not
the
wrong.
entertaining bit.
But it was so Andy. It was just so
It was
him
so
that it made sense.
It's so Andy, and so here's my that's like my thing is like if people have this perception of him being like what do they call him, the George Costanza,
Yeah.
falling out of boats and dropping his do not disturb die or whatever it's called, not do not disturb die, the shot in the dark
Shot in
die,
the dark.
and like looking for advantages while people are awake and all of this stuff. I just think if he gets to the end, he does have an uphill battle where he has to be like, hey guys, I know I did all this stuff, but I am also smart and clever
Yeah.
and have
He'll
these
have
ideas.
to like pull a Marianne where he like pulls something
Yeah.
out and he's
Yeah.
like, listen, you didn't know about this. And I was like lowering my threat level, but I did it on purpose. And look at me go. I eliminated all of you.
Exactly.
It would be very interesting. I'm very excited just to see, because I think there's a lot of people are just talking about like, is Andy going to make it to the end? And if he does, like, what's going to happen? But I just think that he has, like, we saw this episode again, him and Genevieve, and I also want to talk about Genevieve in this context too, because I think she is a great ability to read a situation. And she was like, hey, I'm alone. I'm by myself. My number one just got voted out. I'm a solo. I need to find somebody else. And I just think that Christine is a really interesting player in the game. And I'm really excited to see where she goes. Christine, how do you feel about Genevieve?
I love Genevieve. I think she's like a slow burn here in the show. And the more I see of her, the more I love her. I think she's so logical and calm in the face of such chaos. Like her number one was Rome and she was like just kind of chilling with it. The chaos. She has such a great ability to remain calm with these people who are kind of like running around with their heads cut off, and she can always articulate so well the situation at hand. So if she is up against Andy in the final three, I don't know if he could win because I think she would slay a speech.
And isn't she a lawyer too?
She's a lawyer. Yeah.
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 Lawyers are good at speeches. I mean, and I think that like, yeah, I think she's an incredible player. Kara, what do you think about Genevieve?
Yeah. She is so interesting. She is so calm, which is also probably so nice for the other people there to have someone calm like that and collected. But yeah, I think if she's in the end, I think it would be hard for anyone to go up against her.
Yeah.
That's so real. And I think,
Mhm.
I just think that we were kind of blindsided by her, just edit wise, because
Yes.
we didn't see her for 2 episodes. We were
Yeah.
like, this person, she's like the Loch Ness monster. Does she exist? And then all of a sudden she comes in and she got I saw somebody in the TikTok comments say the only 2 people to have gotten montages so far are Genevieve and Andy, because there was that crazy montage for Genevieve with the Keyshawn, because Keyshawn like things floating over her head,
Yeah.
saying all that stuff. She drove that vote.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we can see it with Andy with all of like the Sierra and the Sam in his head. And I just think that if this duo can stay a duo, I'm very excited to see what happens with it.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
for sure they have the potential to get to
Right?
the end together because
It would be great. It would be amazing. And
It would
I
be.
just think again, they're both pretty good TV, because like I love seeing like a calm person juxtaposed to kind of a
Yeah.
chaotic person. It's
Mhm.
great.
I love when she popped up and she was like, if we're working together, Andy really has to stop doing this. And I could just picture her giving her like Tyson lectures.
Oh, yes. Literally. Because I mean, they were, would you do that? Would you look for an advantage at like a reward like that? Maybe not so obviously, but
Not like he was.
Not like that.
I can't see myself not, right? Like how can you not have
Yeah.
your eyes peeled? I think Saul did a much better job just kind of standing and getting a different perspective instead of like digging around.
didn't he flip over a plate at some point? Didn't Andy like flip it over like
was
under the plate?
He was doing too much.
He was doing so much. It was so funny.
Yeah,
Well,
it was very entertaining.
Speaking of the reward, we did have a challenge. The challenge was a challenge plus, immunity challenge and a reward challenge. But the twist this episode, which was slightly different, what I was expecting, we actually had Franny on last week. And when Franny was on, we chatted about like, thinking that it was what's happened in other new eras when they got split into 6 and 6, where it's a double tribal, 2 people go home in 1 episode, but 1 person doesn't make the jury and 1 person does. So that's kind of what I was expecting going into the episode. But I was pleasantly surprised that only 1 person was going to be going home and 6 people were going to be completely safe. And not only were they going to be safe, they were also going to get food. I love this challenge. Also, I think this is a very interesting challenge. Funny enough that we were actually kind of talking about this with Franny on the pod, because this was the challenge that she won and sent Matt home, which is so sad.
Yeah.
But I think that I liked how they did this, where it was like 6 safe and 6 not so safe, aka not safe at all. How did you feel like this twist? Carol, I'll start with you. How did you feel like this twist plays into this new like fake mergatory, whatever it is?
It's interesting. I don't know. It is interesting, like them being split and half of them being safe and not. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's an opportunity for them to form bonds with each other. And then, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of wish it wasn't maybe half and half.
Yeah. And just like one, like a regular, like I think it would have, my big thing is like, I think it's also interesting just to like be in the merge, man. Like back in the day, Bus and Rob made it to the merge in Marquesas and did not make the jury because that's just how they used to do it. Like sometimes merge you don't make the jury, and I'm okay with that. Christine, how did you like this like twist? I know we've talked about it a little bit, but would you have preferred this or just like a quote unquote regular merge?
I liked it. I think if they didn't have the advantage that kind of interfered, it wouldn't have been as fun, because I would have just been sad that she couldn't use her numbers and social skills to like make her way out of this, because we would have had more people to add to the vote. But I'm like totally cool with it because of the advantage and the fun we had there. And I love that they didn't just go to the sanctuary. I love that it wasn't Applebee's. I love there wasn't just like 1 hot dog and 1 bun with no ketchup. I was like, what is this?
The rewards have been weird.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, it's an actual meal with endless food.
And the big thing that was on Twitter, people were freaking out, and Instagram, there was potato salad. Apparently it was the best potato salad on the face of the planet. Teeny was like, there's pickles in it, and it's very exciting. People were going nuts over the potato salad. So I don't think they really cared about anything else. It was like, what is it? Like ribs and something else. They were like,
And corn on the
"Who needs
cob.
that?
Yeah.
You need potato salad."
Ribs is like
Ribs
don't
is
know.
also aggressive food for people who haven't been eating.
it is. It's like, who thought of that?
At least it's not like, remember that one season where they got like steaks and that like older man couldn't
Bruce.
pass
I think
it,
Bruce.
and it was
It medivac him.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the one. I think where they were at like a spa or something.
Yeah.
And he was eating like this like steak kebabs, I think, or something like that. And I was like, why would you steak 32 days into a Survivor? That's so aggressive.
That's crazy.
Oh, but I loved this reward. And I really love when people get to go to a reward and kind of have their like guard drop a little bit. I think it's really interesting to see how people continue to play Survivor when it's not the forefront of their brain, because I think it just gives people a very interesting, like, the way they move. They're still clearly talking about Survivor, living in Survivor, playing the game, but it's like, I'm playing the game, but I'm also drinking a beer. I'm also, and I just think that it's always a very interesting exercise, if you will, with all these people. Now let's go to after the challenge. Obviously, they go to the reward, but then the other 6 go back to the old Lavo camp, sad, hungry, and knowing that they need to go to tribal council in a couple of hours. I want to talk about Caroline in this moment, because I don't know if you guys saw this or noticed this, but at one point, Tiana goes up to Caroline after Tiana and Kyle had talked about, something, and they going after Gabe. Yeah. And Caroline does this thing that I think is one of the best moments socially of the season, where obviously we know Gabe and Caroline are pretty close in their alliance with Sue. And so that we come from that perspective, but Tiana doesn't really know that, or she doesn't know it as well as we do. And Caroline does not flinch at all. She doesn't go, I don't know. She goes, amazing. Yeah, I'm very interested in this. Why don't you tell me a little bit more? And then she's
like, it's open. Like, let's just have open conversation.
And then after that, she goes, here's why I maybe don't love that. And it's not because, this isn't great. This is bad for me. It's because, while we're Tuku might be targets, we're not the targets in Tuku. And she goes through all of this stuff. I think this was a standout episode for Caroline. Christine, how did you feel about this moment with Caroline?
No, I think she's so smart and such a clever player, because she does seem very calm and level-headed in all of these conversations. She deals with it so well, and she feels so genuine all the time. And she is genuine, I feel like. And I think she and Sue could really go far, and Gabe. Like, I feel like that's another trio that could make it really far, but they're not getting as great of an edit with the montages.
Where's their montage?
Where's Caroline's montage? She's so smart.
I know.
Yeah.
Sarah, how did you feel about that moment?
Yeah, Caroline's another one who was just so calm and like level-headed, which is, also nice. But I feel like, I wonder if like the talk of a women's alliance kind of came into play in that conversation with Tiana, and that's why it was so why they were so able to be so open with each other and like talk freely about what they were thinking.
Yeah, because they were before that they were split up, everyone was talking about it, and I do think it was like Teenie was there, I think Sierra was there, but also Tiana and Caroline were there, and so they did have this previous, working relationship, if you will, about a women's alliance maybe in the future of the merge. I just think it was, we have some people over in the comments on the TikTok saying, Ian says, Caroline's conversation with Tiana was absolute brilliant social play. You can tell she's a good strategy consultant. Like, you can tell she works with clients, and sometimes clients might not have the best ideas, and she goes, yes, that's amazing. Well, what if we tweak it a little bit? You could see how she did her job.
And
she knows how to talk to people.
Yeah, and she also, I don't know, I just get such good vibes from her. When she had that last episode when she was like, I am so proud of Sue, and I am not going to tell anyone about her immunity idol. It's like, oh my God, I just love that energy.
Yeah.
So rare in Survivor.
And that's also a huge thing, because I think a big part about Survivor obviously is your social gameplay, but it's not like being transparently like there are people who go to tribal council and they'll be like, I loved it when Tiffany did this thing, and Tiffany's sitting over there and you're like, oh, Tiffany, I missed it, blah, 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 whatever. And you're really much playing to the jury and you're trying to get like those votes, right? And I feel like that is a player who knows that the social element is important, like the overarching, but isn't truly invested in these like relationships as much. But in that moment, you really saw Caroline she was looking directly into Tiana's eye. Like there was nobody else on the planet Earth. They were like, it was just that moment. And I think, we saw it also that she's just genuinely her when she did end up voting out Tiana, and she didn't get up. She just stood there and she had her hand on her heart and she sat there and she just didn't move for a second, because, you can tell that was hard for her. And I just think that Caroline is a very dynamic, interesting, different character on the show, but also brilliant, like so brilliant. And I love watching her. I love watching her on the show. Like she's definitely one of my favorites, truly.
Yeah.
And that moment really stood out to me. Like I'll be thinking about that in like 3 years, that moment of just her and Tiana.
Yeah, I feel like she's very new age Survivor in the best way. Like the calmness is something that I think we're just seeing more players with that vibe now, but but they're so smart and they know exactly what they're doing. And I feel like we didn't see that as much in the olden days.
Yeah. She's like very different she's a very different character.
Yes. And then I also want to bring in, just while we're talking about Caroline, this is all obviously from a different episode, but when Gabe, when they went to that reward with the horrible hot dog and bun, but nothing else, not a condiment, ne'er a condiment in sight, as Brandon Donlin says, and they come back and Tiana, and she goes to Tiana and she goes, hey, you need to tell Gabe what happened, because it's probably going to get back to him, and you need to just apologize and just say like, here's what happened, I'm sorry, whatever, because she was looking out for her alliance, but she was also genuinely just looking out for Tiana in that moment. She was like, yeah, you said these things, but let's just say it before anybody else can. And she knew that Sue wanted to tell Gabe. She knew that. But she, instead of, going to Gabe and be like, hey, I got some details for you, she saw a different route. And I think that's why I love Caroline, is she sees different routes to places. And I think that it's just, she's one of the best social players.
She
I think we've seen.
Thinks everything through before she makes any move or speaks to anybody. She already knows what she is planning.
Yeah.
We have Hayden over here on the TikTok saying Caroline and Rome are the opposite ends of the Survivor player spectrum.
Yes, true.
I think that is one of the best observations I have seen. Incredible, correct, but incredible. Now, I also want to talk about kind of a different moment. Gabe and Rachel talking. They're talking strategy. He goes, let's go for Caroline. We got to get her out. And then Rachel's like, this is great. I've got this. I feel like I actually have a life in this game. Gabe hugs her, and we get the second camera, like looking at the camera moment of the season where Gabe hugs Rachel and rolls his eyes at the camera. How did we feel about that moment? Christine, I'll start with you.
Wait, how did I miss that eye roll?
I gotta find. I was able to find a video.
Oh my God. I mean, I like when they throw looks to the camera. I think it's funny. It's entertaining, but I like that Rachel was astute enough to know that, like, okay, he's probably lying to me. Yeah. If she had taken it as genuine, I would have felt worse about the eye roll now and hearing about it.
Yeah, I think Rachel's a very smart player. And I think if this advantage didn't fall into her lap and sold it and give it to her, I think we would have seen a shot in the dark played by her this evening. I think it would have been the first shot in the dark played this season. I don't think that they were successfully blindsiding her personally. I think it would have been. Yeah, right?
No,
I'm so sorry. I'm going to take my dog's bowl away because he's being obnoxious and drumming on it. Hold on.
Okay. Kara, while she's gone, how did you feel about that moment?
Yeah, it was okay. I was actually really surprised that he said Caroline and not Tiana after everything. So like the whole Caroline of it all was kind of like random to me.
Yeah.
But it was a good moment. It's always funny like seeing like them look into the camera and then it's like a good memeable moment.
Very cool. I was also very curious. I wonder if this happened and we just didn't see it. I was also shocked that he didn't say Tiana in that moment, but I also think that could have been a moment where Rachel could have gone back to either Tiana or Caroline and been like, hey guys, Gabe is throwing other people's names out. You know, like, I don't know if this is how you guys want to play. And even if Caroline was in on it, let's say, and she knew that Gabe was going to go to Rachel and be like, hey, you know, you can use my name, that's fine. Like, let's just say she's in on it. I think this would show, if she could do this, this would show that Caroline, Sue, Tiana, whoever else she would be going up towards and telling this, that she has her back. Like, I am going to tell you when I hear your name. Like, this is, I know it's not an anybody but me moment. It's a, hey, I'm worried about you. I've got you. And this might have happened and we just didn't see it. I think that this would have been very interesting for Rachel to do. I think it would have been, again, another path that Rachel could have taken.
I wonder if they could have like cut it because she got safety without power, so we didn't even need that plot line. Maybe.
Yeah. Or it might come into play in the next episode. Like she might tell Caroline that Gabe was throwing her name out.
Yeah. I'm excited to see next episode when Caroline goes back to Tribal Council and she sees that Tiana's gone. I think that that's going to be a very interesting reaction because she's going to be the only one that doesn't know. Everybody else knows that Tiana's gone.
Do you think she's going to be surprised? I feel like, is it that surprising?
I feel like, no, I think it would be because I don't think she heard Tiana's name all day. I think she heard Caroline's name and I think she heard Gabe's name. I don't think unless they missed it or they just didn't show it. I don't think she heard her name once.
Yeah, unless she already knew the vibe between Gabe and Tiara.
Yeah, so I think it'll be like I think it's going to be a very interesting next episode watching this kind of all unfold. And then also Saul, can we talk about Saul's acting?
Oh my God, I wanted to talk about that. He was just like frowning so hard.
I feel like he was trying not to laugh. I feel like he was really, truly trying not to laugh and be like,
oh my gosh. I feel like I would giggle if that was me. Like I would definitely be like, not be able to not laugh or something.
I feel like it would have been a universal decision for anyone there on the jury to give it to Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
I feel like who else would you give it to? Unless you have a really close connection with somebody else. I feel like it would be cruel to not give it to Rachel.
Yeah.
So.
Be like, you're the only one on the tribe. Sucks to suck. I'm giving it to Kyle. I know he has immunity. I don't care.
Do you think like, okay, for safety without power, you know how like she had to wait until Jeff said time to vote? Do you think it would be like make a difference at all if she had to play it like right as you get to tribal?
They'd have more time to think it through, right?
Yeah. I think they would have more time to think it through. I just think we would have. I think it would have been different for her because I think she was confirmed. Like she got the confirmation during that tribal council that she was like, at least from an outsider's perspective, I think she realized, it's 100% me. Like, I think she had the vibe all day, but I think tribal council was just the nail in the coffin. And she now knows that these 5 people are going to vote against her. And 4 of them are going to come back to the camp. And they're going to have to be like, well, I technically didn't vote for you, but she now knows in the back of her head that they were going to. So I think the only thing that would change would be how Rachel sees Kyle, Sue, Caroline, and Gabe. That is the thing that I think only like it would change, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Somebody commented on the TikTok saying, Rourke said, when Saul went, the what? I died. That whole thing is so funny also because like, what would you do? Like, you can't be like, I did that. Like, that's kind of drawing a bigger target on you. Mm-hmm. But I guess you just have to lie.
Just like sit there.
Liar.
Kind of look around. Look around.
Do you think that he's going to tell Rachel that it was him?
If it's advantageous in some way, I'm sure he will.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll see it immediately. Because I mean, at least we kind of see how he plays. We saw how Saul plays.
Yeah, he's pretty open.
Where he put a vote on Andy. He went to Andy and was like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry," and immediately it was immediate conversation. So I feel like at one point, like as soon as he possibly can, without drawing too much attention to himself, he's going to pull Rachel aside and be like, "Hey, I thought you were alone over there. I didn't want you to do it. I found it. I would love to work with you in the future." And I think that could be, a very interesting connection. I also am like dreaming about this, like Rachel, Andy, Genevieve, Saul, like quad taking over.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be really
so
fun.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a comment over here. Zero the Thief said, would it be smarter for Saul to pull a Marianne and save it for the jury speech? I mean, if he makes it to Constable Council.
But you might need Rachel's help before then, right?
That's true.
Yeah. I feel and is that big of a thing that could make or break
next to Rachel?
Yeah, it depends who's there.
If he's sitting next to Rachel, she could be like, you are literally here because of me.
Yeah.
And then she wouldn't be able to say anything like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good point.
So I think it'd be interesting, but I do think that he needs to use that as a tool first. Marianne found an idol pretty close to the end, and she did all these things like kind of close to the end. And it wasn't like, at the very beginning of the, when she pulled everything out of her bag. She wasn't saving it for like 15 days. She was saving it for like 5. And so I think it really, you have to forge that path before you can decide, here's what the tools that I'm going to use to like, when I get there, you got to make sure you get there. That's the hard. That's why Survivor's hard.
This is a good, this is a good alliance building thing for him. Cool. So I feel like, I feel like it makes sense to tell her.
I just want to say I loved this episode, and I feel like this season, every single episode is not outshining the last, because there were some bangers in the beginning, but like it's just like so well put together. And I think that this cast is really well put together. I think they did a really amazing job with this cast. And I think New Era, I think the casts have been amazing. But I really just think that like we're seeing the product of having incredible characters be brought together on our screen. And I'm just like thrilled by, the season so far. We're 7 episodes in. We've got like 5 left, 6 left.
That's it.
The chemistry between all of them has been so much fun to watch.
Good.
Yeah, it's great. And I just think the editors are having fun. I think Jeff is having fun. I just am like so excited about it. Now we do have, we have some questions that were sent in. We've got, we've got to get to all of our fun little awards after the commercial break. But before we go, is there anything you wanted to talk about, Cara, Christine, that we didn't discuss so far that you want to make, we have a moment to discuss? Anything that was a burning moment that you have to be like, I have to talk about this?
Not necessarily. We talked about all the big ones. I feel like I mean, Saul, I feel like right now it feels like he's gonna go really far, but I just don't. He hasn't had his. Maybe next episode he'll get a montage.
Maybe. I saw someone say on Twitter how the edits of like everyone this season have been kind of even, so it's hard to really tell like who's gonna win. Like there's no clear winner edit.
Edgic is spiraling right now. Edgic is like, I don't know what to do. They're freaking out because it's a good edit, and this is why you don't want to have a Cochran edit, but you also don't want to have an Erica edit. You want to find the nice balance, and I think that this so far is a really good balance,
And it's nice to see things from everyone. Like it's more fun to see everyone playing versus just like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, to feel like you know everybody. I feel like the person I feel like I know the least about is Sierra, and maybe Sam, but Sam I feel like talks more than Sierra.
Yeah,
but,
I agree. Well, if you have any questions, if you're watching live, wherever you are, make sure to type them in the comments. We are going to do a quick little commercial, and we will be back for Social Hour, the Social Butterfly Award. I mean, we'll be back for everything. So be Back in a moment.
Hi, Survivor Now podcast listeners. I am Katie from KT Designs, better known as Katie Tedesco Art on both Instagram and Etsy. I have been designing and selling Survivor products for over 7 years at my Etsy shop, including replicas like hidden immunity idols and Survivor trading cards with all of the players' stats on the back. I am so grateful for Survivor Now for giving me this shout out and helping me reach even more super fans. I love listening to their podcast. So if you are looking for some really unique reality TV products for yourself or to give a super fan in your life, come check out my Etsy shop at www.etsy.com/shop/KatieTedescoArt.com.
All right, it's time for the original social hour. We're the OGs. Sorry, Survivor. We came first. Survivor social hour is at it. We did get some questions ahead of time, and I know we have a couple in the comments that I also wanted to get to, but we'll start with this one that we got earlier today. Boy says, who do you think would have gone home if the other 6 went to tribal council?
Oh,
Very interesting question.
Probably like Sam or Sierra.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought about it and I was like, I think Andy's a very straightforward one, right? They did just have 2 votes put on Andy. Saul was one of those votes. You know, he's there. But I
He's
just
got his
think
alliance now.
exactly Genevieve
Agenda.
Andy. You know, Saul is now working with Andy. That's 3.
Yeah.
And then I think Teeny would be the other one. And I think Teeny and Genevieve they have been working together. So I feel like those 2 would also vote similarly. And I think it would land on either Sam or Sierra. And I think if you're looking at it, I think Andy thinks that he works better with Sam, but I think he feels a little bit more betrayed by Sam.
Yeah. It'd probably be Sam.
I think it'd probably be Sam. And also I think everyone else would probably be like, he is a bigger physical threat.
Yes.
So might as well get out the physical threat. I do think it would be Sam in the other way. And I wish there could be a confirmation. I wish I could call them and be like, what would you have done?
If it was okay, so if they went and the other tribe found the advantage, who would they have given it to?
Great question. Rachel would not want it to go. Well, if Rachel found it, I don't think she would want it to go to any one of the Gata.
Yeah.
I think she would try to form
maybe like
Teeny.
Yeah.
I think you're right, because if Caroline finds it, I think it's going to Teeny. If Sue finds it, I think it's going to Teeny.
Playing great game.
Teeny montage next.
Teeny montage. So we need montages for Teeny. We need montages for Saul.
Yeah,
we're saving the Teeny one because she's playing such a good game. We need to wait for the reveal.
True. Yeah, I think it would go. And what do you think Teeny would do? Do you think Teeny would use it? I think they feel safe enough that they wouldn't want me to, you know?
Oh,
maybe.
Unless it's like a block.
Can they give it to someone in trouble?
Probably not. Like, I feel like it would if somebody got it, I feel like they would just send it to Andy because Andy got votes. And it would be somebody that they think is in trouble. Like the group thinks is in trouble. And I do think that there is a bigger argument that Andy's more in trouble, you know?
Wait, giving it to Andy would be smart because I feel like he would just be instantly loyal to whoever gave it to him.
Yeah.
So
you're not wrong. I think you're probably right.
Yeah,
we have another comment over here from Hayden saying, I'm glad this season tribal lines feel more lax.
Yeah.
I'm also glad about that. I like that it's not like the Reba 4 or whatever. You know, I'm liking that it's
I did like that though.
Yeah. Because I feel like they've had so many chances to mingle with each other prior to like them merging that like it was just easier, I guess, for them to.
I feel like New Age has been very blurred all the time, like with the constant crossing of lines. So when Reba 4 were actually sticking together, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so old age and I love it.
Yeah.
I think that I just think that it's so interesting that like I do think that we're seeing smaller groups stick together. Like I think like Caroline and Sue are going to be sticking together for a long time. I think Sam and Sierra, for better or for worse, are going to be sticking together for a while. But I like that we're getting these alliances of like almost like
the loyal pairs.
Yeah. No, but like the loyal pairs. I just like how we're getting all of these random like things happening. It's not just like one group dominating everybody else, or whatever it is. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. And the crisscross, like Caroline and Sue, and then there's Sue and Gabe. Like there's a lot of those kind of like they're a threesome, but are they a twosome? Like which twosome's stronger? Like it makes for interesting dynamics.
The dynamics are so fun. They're so fun. We have another comment over here. This is not about what we were talking about, but from Victor. Says, not a question, but a statement. Thank you, Christine, for releasing Attached on audiobook.
Oh, I'm so glad that you like the audiobook. Brittany Presley, who did the audiobook, so fucking talented. Am I allowed to curse?
I haven't listened to the audiobook, but I now need to. Funny thing. I back when Ryan was like a little kid or whatever, he was very into Harry Potter, and he stole or like pirated or whatever the Harry Potter audiobooks, the one with like whatever, and he has it on his iPad, and you can kind of even see behind me, or maybe not, but like behind me, he has an old iPod. He has an old iPod music box thing. What's it called? Stereo. That only like an old iPod. How old am I? You can put an iPod into, and literally it's the only thing on the iPod. It's just these 7 audiobooks.
That's amazing.
And every single night we listen to Harry Potter on audio.
That's what I do to go to sleep every night.
Every single night. we wake up to we go to sleep in book 1 and we wake up in like book 6.
That's great.
They're so good. They're so cozy.
They're just so relaxing. Whoever the guy who reads it is.
I can't remember his name right now. I know his name, and it's bothering me that I can't remember it.
Yeah, and he has all of these voices. They're so good.
Stephen Fry does the UK ones. I can't remember the guy who does the American ones right now.
They're so good. So, but I don't know why I thought about that. I guess audio. But, it's just very funny that we literally still use an iPod every single day in the year 2024.
Vintage.
Very vintage. One day, people are going to be like, I've got a collectible, and it's going to be like an iPod Nano from 2008. And I'm going to be like,
for real.
Yeah. Get rid of that. That's trash. Jesus. All right. Sorry. Survivor. Aurora. Focus. Okay. Aurora says, why did they spend so much at Tribal Council last night? Last episode. I guess we already kind of talked about that in the fact that we didn't really care.
We love Tribal Council.
Liked it.
I like Jeffrey. Give me more Jeffrey.
Yeah. The only time I don't like Tribal is when like we know what the vote's going to be and they're just talking about nothing for 10 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I feel like it was interesting because we didn't know if because I feel like in another world, whether Disadvantage was not a part of it, we would have known that it would have been one of those Tribal Councils. It would have been like, okay, it's Rachel. Is she going to play the shot in the dark? Like, we'll find out. But we were all, at least I was thinking, who has the advantage? I wonder who's going to play it. Is somebody going to play it? Did he not send it at all? Like, there was this big unknown throughout the first bit of Tribal Council that made it super interesting. And then another unknown in the second bit of Tribal Council, because we're like, who are they going to do? What's going to happen? Oh, it was great. It was a
good TV.
Yeah. Here we go. So Zero says, TBH, I prefer Island Life Tribal way more than Challenges. Correct. I don't like challenges.
Oh my God, you don't like challenges? Oh my God, I love challenges.
I think they're fine.
Depends on the challenge.
What? I am like, what? The edge of my seat. I'm like imagining I'm playing as them. Like,
I love that.
Like,
that's great.
How do you think you would do for this one specifically, like the over the head?
This one looks really hard to control that little ball on the end.
And also it looks so heavy.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't love this. Every time I see this one, it stresses me out because I don't think I would do well on it.
And I also don't love the close-ups of their feet all the time when they're like inching up on the wall. I'm like, do we need that?
They love a good feet shot
right now. We could do something else.
Oh my God.
I guess we want to see how narrow it is, but I don't. They haven't had a shower in like 2 weeks. We need to see what their toenails look like right now.
I'm so into it. I'm not even paying attention to the feet. I'm like, oh my God, we're in the middle of a challenge.
We have a comment over here on TikTok saying, I like challenges okay, but specifically when the edit pokes fun at a team player or Jeff makes jokes. I do love sassy Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like when he cut the rice, that's burned into my mind forever.
It's so funny.
So good. And it's like, why is that the most threatening thing I've ever seen? He's just like,
Who's
decide.
face like
So good. I love
Exactly.
Jeff. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Okay, we did get this question earlier in the episode, also from Zero the Thief. So thank you for all of this. Do y'all think if someone else found that the advantage, they would have not given it to not Rachel? Like, so if somebody else on the in that group found it, do you think everyone would have given it to Rachel? Do you think somebody else would have given it to Rachel?
I feel like everyone would have given it to Rachel because they don't want the Tuku to be any stronger.
Yeah.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
I
just
almost
think
feel like he could have been like, we're giving this to Rachel, guys, right? Like he could have showed them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
It would have
think
been
it's
interesting
forward.
if they like decided together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would have
been
been
cool.
interesting.
I would have liked it if he would have pulled at least the people that he wants to work with on to the side and been like, hey, here's this.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think there's also the worry of if you do that if you
That he
only tell
found it.
some people what?
Oh, I was sorry. I shouldn't have spoken. I was just saying that the threat of him being able to find it.
Real.
Yeah.
That's also true. Wait, no, that's
Yeah.
also true. No,
That's
but
true.
I was also thinking like you have to make sure they can lie and have a poker face. If
Yeah.
you don't tell everybody,
Yeah.
you only tell some people. You know this is going to be public knowledge in 5 hours, however
Yeah.
long until tribal council.
Yeah, everyone
So
would have
you
been
have to-
sitting across from them like, when you gonna pull it?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And like, while Saul's poker face was fine, I don't think it was that good. I don't think like if Andy knew, I think he would have not had a very good poker face. You know,
Oh my god, he would have been
no.
beaming.
he would have been beaming ear to ear.
He would have been eating that up.
I know. All right, we've got this another question sent in. Oh, from a very interesting user named Tegwith asks, how excited are we for the auction next week?
The auction's next week?
Wait,
Yeah.
actually?
Auction 2.0. I mean not 2.0, but like the second one of the new era next week.
I'm pumped. I
Oh,
really
it's gonna be so good.
I
know.
love that they made them like work for the money last time. That was
I
so
know.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see if it's going to be done the same because I feel like this was filmed in a different year, right? So they have time to change. They have time to like update how they want to do it. So I'm very curious to see because some people, I think it was received okay. I don't think it was received like overwhelmingly. Like I don't think people loved the like looking for their money thing. I liked it a lot. I thought it was interesting. So I'm very interested to see what changes they make. Do you think they're going to do the same thing where somebody is like, if you have the most money, you lose the vote? Do you think that'll happen again?
I did like that because
Yeah.
it made them use the money. I
Yeah.
feel like I really liked all the changes. I thought that made it such a fun game.
Yeah.
It made it into a game instead
Yeah.
of just like an auction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
My only gripe with the lowest amount of money loses their vote, or highest amount of money loses their vote, is that it's still a game, but it wasn't like you don't see people fighting over something. It was, I have $900. I'm going to spend $900 on this milkshake. All right, I've got $800. I'm going to spend $800
that's
on this
true.
margarita and tacos. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is fine, but I just
You
Yeah.
want to see them fight.
yeah, I like the
Yeah.
fight. I like to see what people want to fight over versus what people
Mhm.
don't really care about. And I do wish that
Yeah.
that was like the one thing missing that I would
Yeah, I see
be very
that.
curious as to how they could get that back. But I don't know. I don't have the answer.
What if they make it where it's like instead of losing your vote, like you win immunity or something?
With the most amount of money?
But
I
no
don't
one
know,
will
just
use
somehow.
their money.
Or
Like
like
then everyone would just hold.
or least amount of money? I don't know.
Or what if like he didn't say that you're gonna lose your vote until like the last 3 things, and
Yeah.
then he's like,
Wait.
"All right."
Yeah.
True. But I
That's
feel
not
like maybe they can't do this again because like you have
They
to assume
know.
that they've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like there's a way where you could say like increments of, $20, no bid can go over like $250 or something. And so
Ooh.
that way, you have the bidding wars, or I guess whatever.
But would they just automatically be like 250?
Yes, but then at some point they're gonna have less than 250, and they then can use all their money. But maybe you don't want to. I don't know. I just feel like
He'll probably throw in a new twist.
What?
Yeah,
He'll
it'll
probably
probably
do
be
a new
different.
They'll
twist.
probably do a new twist. But my big thing with the auction is, personally, I think if you just say there are going to be no advantages at this auction, have them look for the money. That's totally fine. But just say, hey, there's not going to be a single advantage at the auction. You either use the money or you don't. If you don't use the money, you can take it home. And then I just truly think people will treat it like a regular auction. Nobody loses anything. Nobody gains anything. It's just an auction for food and good vibes. And I feel like, and that's not a twist, that's not interesting, but I do feel like that is the easiest way to get that auction vibe back from like that we used to get back in the olden days of Survivor,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's almost like so simple, it's dumb, but I truly feel like that really is all they need to do.
Just
But I
keep
have
it
no,
simple.
like, find the money, that's actually kind of fun because then you can like get the stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Who was it that was so terrible at finding money?
Wasn't it Bruce?
Bruce.
That man is so funny because he just
He's
truly, he was either purposely bad or just, and then he had the least amount of money going in. He's like $60 going in, and then he was the one with the most amount of money at the end, and he lost his vote.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
So funny.
Iconic.
And then Kelly and Albanian went home that night because Bruce didn't have a vote, and they were tied together for some reason.
Yeah,
Kelly got
right.
They were a power couple.
Why were they a power couple? I mean, I guess Kelly was
Honestly.
asking that too. Why were you a power couple?
It is so funny to think about that the two of them were like
I know.
a duo.
I know, bonded.
That's so funny.
It was just the only person tolerating his style of play.
Oh yeah. Oh man, Bruce is so fun. I feel like Bruce is one of those characters that I feel like one day we'll see like a Katura Bruce on like a Rivals season, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah, I want that.
I don't know
Rivals
that
season
actually.
so
I don't
bad.
know that either of them will sign on for that, but oh my gosh. Oh wait, this is interesting. So Christine, do you watch Australian Survivor?
I have watched 1.5 seasons of Australian Survivor. So I watched this season with the lady from the show and the guy with the ice cream, and why can't I remember? It was like here, not heroes versus villains. It was like contenders versus
champions versus contenders.
champions. Okay, yeah, it was so good, and I wanted to watch the rest, and they took them off Paramount Plus. And then I didn't get to.
That was the worst. That's actually one of the ones I haven't seen, so I haven't seen that one. But have you seen an Australian version of the what's it called?
If they did it during that season, I must have. I've only watched the season once though. Their seasons are so long. I was so blown away. I was
3 episodes a week.
like,
3
it was
episodes
like
a week.
50 something days, like 55
It's a
days.
lot.
Yeah. They start with like
Insanity.
24 people. No, it's a
So
lot.
good.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this when Raymond found the advantage in the popcorn, and I feel like that'd be fun to put in here.
So if you don't, for those of you who don't watch Australian Survivor, who's listening, watching, whatever, in Australian Survivor, they have never gotten rid of the auction. They do the auction quite often. It's not every season, but it's a lot of the seasons. And it's like old versions of like the old, how the US used to do it is basically how they do it. But the difference is, so they have some covered, they have some uncovered. But they never really auction off an advantage that like looks like an advantage that, whatever. It's whatever. It doesn't smell like it, but it's sometimes in something. So it was like rolled up in a piece of popcorn. There was another one where it was like in like a candy thing on the back of a plate, or whatever it is. So it's like a part of something. So you don't know what has an advantage. Potentially anything could have an advantage.
In a piece of popcorn or in a bucket?
It was in the bucket.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
They're very engaged over there. They really got it in that.
Wasn't there something was this on Australian Survivor where someone bit into something and there was like an advantage?
It's kind of ringing a bell.
I can't remember where that was, but
Was that
I feel like this happened.
Something that seems real.
Yeah, it's ringing a bell, but I can't place it.
I don't know where it is.
It does seem like
might have
that's
been
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've always thought this. I've always thought if you really must have advantages at the auction, have it incorporated. Ryan has the best idea, where he had the idea. You know how they used to auction off like a shower or a
Yes,
tub?
a bath. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he had the idea of putting directions to an advantage or an idol or something
Ooh.
on the back of the door, so that you can't take it with you.
That's a great
You
idea.
can see it, and then you know where something is. So you close the door and only you can see it, and you're, you know, taking a shower or whatever, and you have to remember where it is. And he had that idea, and I was like, that is the best idea I've ever heard.
That is a good idea.
Isn't that an idea?
Yeah. I mean, I really wish, was it on Australian Survivor where there was like the Fleur de Lis was an immunity idol, and that's why Adam thought that was immunity idol during the winter season? Like, I wish that was real. I think that would have been so funny.
Hot take. Everyone is like, that's the cringiest thing on Survivor.
Oh my God. It's
No,
the most
you
iconic thing on
It was
Survivor.
not cringe. It was worth a shot.
It was worth a shot. What's the
so
worst that
funny.
can happen?
Yeah, it's not like he's
happen?
in any of a different position if it's not. Like
Literally.
I think about it every time that I see anything at Tribal Council now. I'm like, please make that
Right?
idol in honor of Adam.
In honor, I know, right? I wonder if anybody else will ever try that, because
maybe for 50.
maybe for 50.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
would be
they should
cool.
do it for 50.
Mhm.
Also on Australian Survivor, or maybe not Australian Survivor, but like in another international one, there was an idol hidden in the voting booth.
Ooh.
So it was like on the top of the urn or something.
That's why he
or,
was
like, the
looking at
back.
that too.
He was yeah. But it was like, Jeff Probst has gone on record saying that, like, I don't think he ever will have an idol at Tribal Council, but he will sometimes say things, and then I think like 2 years later he'll be convinced, like, oh no, that's actually a good idea, and he'll do it.
Yeah.
I went to actually at the 45, the auction. It was the auction episode. There was a screening that CBS had, and I live in New York, so I was able to go to that. And Jeff was there, which I like blacked out.
Oh my gosh.
But basically, somebody like asked, like, oh, why did you say that you're never going to bring back, you know, themes? And he goes, sometimes I say things because that's what I believe in the moment. And then 3 months later, I go, why did I say that? I don't think that's right.
Themes are the best.
Yeah, I love themes. I'm a big theme gal. I think that they're very fun, and I think they should bring them back.
Yep.
But
Agreed.
I think that maybe we'll see some like fun things that will, you know, he'll incorporate. I also think US Survivor is worried about taking ideas or using ideas from international versions, because it's like it's almost like it's like we're the originals and people should be are taking like things from us, but we're not going to do it the other way around.
Yeah.
But that's just
true,
like
but-
to get the ego off there.
Yeah.
I just had the most random theme idea. I was like, what if they did cat people versus dog people versus not cat people?
I love that
idea, but also hilarious.
That would be interesting.
I love the idea of not telling the players the theme immediately. And then kind of like they think it's like no theme, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait a second. We all have cats here. It's very interesting.
We all have more than 3. What does this mean?
Going on? I had the idea of left-handed people versus right-handed people.
Love that.
Because it's also like interesting because
and then ambidextrous.
Oh, that's another one. But they say if you're like a left-handed person, you use the left side of your brain more, and if you're a right-handed person, you use the right side of your brain more. Whatever. And so that could be a cool like thing. And when I said this, somebody was like, you know, the left-handed people are going to find out immediately. They're going to notice that every single person in the group is left-handed, and they're going to be like, oh my God, that's the theme. Whereas people who are right-handed will never notice.
Yeah, they will never notice. I also think it would be cool to do like, I don't know if this is like, I don't know, but I feel like it would be cool to do like East Coast, West Coast, middle America.
That would be fun.
Canada.
That would be really fun. I love that idea, actually. I will say they kind of did not really this at all, but like the no collar, blue collar, white collar is almost like the no collar is the West Coast.
Oh my God.
Like no collar is like LA, California. Not really. I'm joking. I'm joking. To the LAers out there, I'm just kidding. But then that
Me.
would force a lot of but then that would for a lot of people like kind of wish that there was a little bit more geography diversity in the cast members, because a lot of people are from like New York, a lot of people are from Boston, Chicago, like whatever
New
it is.
Jersey. But
Yeah.
New Jersey, they always win, so they have to get New Jersey people on there. They're good at the game.
That's true.
Yeah, Teeny's from New
Christine
Jersey, so I immediately was like, she's winning.
Yes. Michelle,
Michelle, Tony,
Tony,
There we
what's her
go.
name? Twin. Why can't I remember her name? Natalie.
New Jersey.
New
You're in
Jersey.
Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm from Jersey.
You're
Yeah.
from Jersey. I was
yeah.
like, gotta get you on the show.
I do live in LA, but I'm from New Jersey. I identify as New Jersey. I never say I'm from LA.
I will, like, wasn't it Teeny who said in the first episode where she's like, I'm from Jersey, and Teeny's like, that's the thing that I feel like I always have to say because I'm like dressed like this, but I love Jersey. Was that in the episode, or did I just hear her say that on her social media?
I don't remember
I
hearing that, but in the episode,
I feel like she did say that.
I feel like I would have
In
been
the
like,
first one.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
I can't remember. It could also have been something I saw that they posted on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
Mm.
But like, I'm just like, I think if you're from Jersey, you tell people.
Yeah.
As somebody who's family from Jersey, they always tell people.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
be proud
They've always got one person from Jersey on the show per season, I feel like.
because they can't have two winners, Christine. Duh.
I know. Makes sense.
I know, right? Well, I want to say thank you, everybody, to sending in those questions. It always is so fun to go down like different paths and discuss different things. So thank you so much for doing that. But now it's come to one of my favorite parts of the show where we do Kara's sweet thing of the episode. It's my favorite song. Kara, for the people who are new, why don't you explain what the sweet thing is?
Okay, so a sweet thing is something that you just like during the episode on my podcast with my cousin Kateri. It's our favorite like sweet treat or drink or whatever from the week. But for Survivor, it's pretty much just anything we liked. So mine this week is, I think it's gonna be when they were playing baseball at
Aw.
after they won the thing, the
good.
challenge. That
Yeah.
was a cute moment.
Very Twilight of them.
Yeah. Supermassive black hole.
I know. Where was that? Where was that backtrack? Christine, do you have your sweet thing? You want to go next?
Sure. I think mine has to be Andy writing in the sand while we had the fade, the flashback with Sam. Like, man, I really appreciate you. It was Sam.
Oh man, that was a great moment. I forgot about this writing
That
in the
was so
sand.
good.
I will say this is kind of a tangent, but when I saw him writing in the sand, I was like, oh no. But then I was like, oh right, he's not a woman. When women
I know.
write,
Michaela is not allowed to write in sand.
no one. If you're a woman, do not write in sand on Survivor. You cannot do it. But also, I will say, no one saw him.
Yeah.
So he was
Yeah.
writing on his own, so that's okay. No one. I mean, I think in Survivor, people forget people know how to write. And they're like, oh God,
Yeah.
God, panic. You're
What
smart.
are you
I
doing?
can do that.
You're too smart to
You don't have a
make it.
pen.
Literate.
Literally, it's so funny. Oh man, but that's such a good moment. That's such a good moment. I feel like I said it for Teeny. I'm gonna say it for Gabe. It's the camera to eye moment. I mean, I will. I love breaking the fourth wall. I think it's so funny. So it was just a moment that I was like, just perfect for me. And it just was like perfectly encapsulated Survivor also, because he was like, don't worry, it's not you. It's not you. Rolls
you.
eyes to camera. Like brutal. Brutal moment, but so good. But I feel like there are a lot of choices this episode. A runner-up for mine was specifically the pickles in the potato salad.
Did they talk about this in the episode?
No, it was not in the episode. Sam, Teeny, and I think it was like 3 people posted about this potato salad on their Instagram. And I was
There's
like,
that shot of Saul just like with the giant spoon.
Yes.
Of it.
a giant spoon of potato salad. And I was like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody care about anything this much. And they're going crazy about this.
They
potato
cared before
salad.
they even got there. Like Sue looked at everyone and was like, potato salad.
Yeah. Yeah, they were freaking out. I think I've had potato salad twice in my life. Like Didn't
Are
really
we-
know the
Yeah.
Where are
character.
you? Have you lived in New York your whole life?
No,
I was like, how have you not had potato salad?
I don't think I've ever had it.
Where do
That's
you
not
live?
something I like. New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. In Jersey, we used to have it like in the summer every single weekend.
I think I just choose not to have it, but like
I think it's
they're
more
kind
of
of
a
convincing
choosing.
me.
Down the
same.
shore,
Yeah.
it's a staple.
Potato salad. Maybe that's
The
why.
barbecue.
Wait. This is all coming. This is all clear to me. Sue lives in upstate New York, kind of. Teeny is Jersey. Saul, I think, also is Connecticut. So maybe
Tri-state area. Love
they're all in the
potato
area.
salad.
Maybe
Yeah,
I will say the
makes
only
sense.
one is Sam was also really excited, and he lives in Nashville.
Sam doesn't eat anything. How could-
Why does Sam like potato salad and has never
Not
tried like
fruit.
pineapple?
I know.
Like
I don't know. So it's a big question.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's
Make it make sense. It's so real.
I know.
But I think those are 3 amazing sweet things of the episode. So thank you guys so much. But now it has come to our final award of the evening. Do I say the most important award of the world? The Social Butterfly Award. All right. I feel like there's some really good contenders for this award. This episode. Do
All
either
right.
of you have anything driving you? Do you have an idea yet?
I know who.
Okay.
I can't not say Andy. I'm proud of him. I feel like we're turning things around.
Okay.
We made an alliance with Saul. We made an alliance with Genevieve. Genevieve is solid. Genevieve likes chaotic partnerships.
Yeah.
I love that.
They did a good job.
Is that Andy's first win of the season?
Maybe. Well,
It might be.
he had that episode where he was like, "Look at me manipulating things."
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it went his way.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
That was so.
That's a good
funny,
one.
too.
That is,
Andy's a
yeah,
good
I wasn't even thinking of Andy
I
actually.
wasn't either. Kara, who were you thinking about?
So initially, I was thinking Gabe only because I thought it was impressive that like it wasn't him going home at that
Mm.
tribal, and I feel like he
okay.
probably should have been the one to go. I feel like he was a bigger threat. I don't know, but after talking, I feel like it's Caroline.
Oh, that's a great one too.
I am also probably going to go with Caroline just because of that moment. I loved that moment so much.
Yeah.
And I do think it's going to stick in my head for a very long time. But honestly, I like the Andy one too.
Ew.
I didn't even think of Andy because I was just obsessed with Caroline. But I think you're right.
I'm
He
just
does
obsessed with that
have-
montage.
I know. I think Andy is the real social butterfly.
He really is, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Mhm.
Oh man, this is. I feel like Andy.
It was
Congratulations.
Andy's episode, honestly. Like we start with Andy.
I wonder how Jelinski feels that Andy is the winner of the episode several in season 40 several.
Yeah. And it's interesting how like important Andy was in this episode, and like he really didn't like have to be important at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good for him.
Good for him. Exactly. So I think that's incredible. Well,
Yeah.
at the end of this episode, thank you so much, Christine, for joining us. I love getting to talk to you. It's so much fun, and I love how much you love Survivor. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I've never like had a whole episode of podcast where I get to just talk like the intricacies of one episode of Survivor, and this was so much fun.
I am so glad. I am so glad. Well, Christine, we always like to end our little episodes of telling people where they can find our guests. So where is a good place to find you? I know you're on a lot of different social media sites.
Yeah. Instagram is probably like my most active. I'm at xteenmay on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok like that. And I have a podcast called Those Forking Fangirls where like we fangirl about like different specific like book, movie, TV stuff every episode. But yeah, those are my main places. I'm also on YouTube, but like everywhere.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Before
Get the book.
get the book.
Thank you so much for. I didn't even have to hold up my book. I brought one just in case. This is my book. It's
I
available.
just rearranged my
everywhere.
bookshelf yesterday, and I was like, oh man, I got to make sure to bring this out.
Yeah, it's a Survivor
a-
rom-com.
Okay, wait. Actually, I do have a question for you at the end because you're a book lover in general, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations of like fun little books that you're reading right now? Do you have
Oh my
like one or
gosh.
two off the top of your head?
One or two, a million. What vibe are you looking for? If you're
Ooh.
looking for like something dark for like the fall era, Ninth House by Lee Bardugo is my obsession in that realm. It takes place in Yale and it's about like the secret societies, and it's like super grounded, but it's kind of like you're trying to solve a murder, but the lead character, it's really dark, but it's great. The lead character can like see dead people, and
Oh.
it's
Ooh,
like
okay.
Yale, that's very interesting.
it's great. And like the Yale secret societies are so creepy and so cool. She gets involved in those, obviously. Yeah, I mean, if you want a fun rom-com, I always recommend Book Lovers by Emily Henry. It's my absolute favorite. If you want another fun rom-com, Dive with Pip.
Absolutely. I love that. I have my goal. I'm not an avid reader. I mean, I read. I always have a book I'm reading, but my goal was 25 books this year, and I'm like 6 books short.
Oh
So
my
I'm trying
gosh,
to
you're so
fit it all
close.
in.
You can do it.
And
Okay.
so I need
You
all
want
of
like quick reads? I definitely Abby Jimenez.
Okay.
Amazing love story. She's so funny. All of her books are great. My favorite is Yours Truly. I just reread it. Oh, so good. I feel like rom-coms are the way to go if you need like 6 books quickly, because you can read those really fast.
I got 2 months. I want to meet.
You can
I want
do
to get
it.
this goal for the first time in my life. Got to get my not Letterboxd, Goodreads. I'm gonna hit the goal for the first time ever.
You know what? Audiobooks
Got
are
it.
also great ways to
true.
do that. And
Should I count the Harry Potter every single night?
oh my god, yes.
Did I
You've already hit the goal.
You already hit it. Jim Dale. It's Jim Dale. Jim
Dale. And we've got this. I turned to my right and got freaked out because wait. You're just staring at me.
Just
I'm
watching.
like, what is going on, you creep? I love her. Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everyone who was listening and like chatting with us. It's always just so much fun. And Christine, you're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much.
Gosh, thank you. This was so fun. I'm so glad you invited me.
Amazing. Well, I just want to say to everybody, thank you again so much for listening. Last little reminder, we've got Stockwatch. Well, I guess actually we don't have Stockwatch because Stockwatch, we changed the time. So got something for you is tomorrow, Saturday at 3 p.m.
Which I will be on.
Oh,
I'm guest hosting with Phil.
Double feature?
Mm-hmm.
Kara double feature. Wow, this was a really good week. A really good Survivor Now week. We got Christine, we got a Kara double feature. What don't we have?
3 o'clock.
Check that out. That's gonna be a really, really good one. But thank you again for everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, don't forget to stay social. See you next week.